Hello, divine, beautiful souls. This is Energy Speaks Podcast with your host, Catriel. Today, we have a special guest here. Her name is Harmony, and she's going to be talking about sacred economics and a couple other things. Hello, Harmony.
Hi.
How are you today?
Doing pretty amazing. I'm a little nervous, though, because it's my first podcast ever.
It's easy. We just talk.
Yay! I'm good at talking.
Definitely. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, yes. Well, I was born in Florida, Dunedin, Florida, and I've lived here my whole life. And I always knew there was something different about myself. I felt really sensitive around other people. I can feel other people's feelings, and I get movies in my mind, visions, and I can see spirits. And of course, my dreams are something like going to different planets and interacting with other beings that are non-humanoid and really existing in these other landscapes that are not looking like Earth. And just there's a lot of different things that happened to me in my childhood and my life that made me realize I was different. And growing up in Florida my whole life, I've always felt like there was something more. But yeah, I feel like getting to know me. It's been a journey. It's been a journey, really getting to know who I am and why I came here. And it's been very exciting so far.
Well, Harmony is a really good friend. We do some cooking stuff, some culinary. We've done some events. She's really into soul colors, and that's something that I'm also into as well. And maybe she'll talk about that throughout this podcast. But I really want to start talking about sacred economics. I feel like that's a good place to start.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, I kind of feel like there's a bit more to say about getting to know like me as a person. I definitely want people to know more about me. I don't often get the opportunity to talk about myself like that. So.
Definitely speak your truth.
Yeah, I'm feeling into that now. So living here my whole life, always knowing that I'm different and feeling very different and sensitive, extrasensory, not really agreeing with any of the belief systems or paradigms on this planet, and just knowing in my heart that there is something more. And my point of transformation, which really took me into more, I guess you could say, into like an awareness expansion, was when I had a life-changing experience. I was going to die. I had a bleeding disorder, and my pituitarium was sending these incorrect signals to my ovaries, and I was bleeding to death. So I had to get taken to the hospital, and they said if you've lost more blood than your body has been able to make, and so if you don't get this blood transfusion, then that's it. You're gonna pass away. And so I was like, wow, and that's when I realized I really do want to live, but I still didn't know why. Why do I want to live? Because I had done so many things to create that pituitary gland imbalance by eating these awful foods and taking in other substances and different things in the environment. And really, I had to do a lot of soul searching after this experience. But what I realized is that ultimately there's something within me that was unexplainable that caused me to drive. It's a willpower and this inner drive and force, that there's something more to this world than what meets the eye. Especially with all these interesting experiences that I had. I was very isolated as a child. I didn't go to public school. I was homeschooled for the first 14 years of my life, and then thrown into public school, and that was an absolute disaster. So I just dropped out and started working. So yeah, but the more I started to really go out there and explore the world, I realized there's not a lot of people out there that think like me, that dress like me, that talk like me, that have had these experiences. And I started to feel like a lot more alienated, and really I feel like that pushed me even further. Like I want to find more beings that are like me that I can connect with. And yeah, so having that life transformational experience where I almost passed away, it really pushed me to look into my health. And so when I started seeing a holistic physician, this place was helping me to transform my being by getting a deeper relationship with plants. And at first, it was really just for my own well-being. I didn't do it for, the animals or the planet or anyone else. I was completely self-serving. I was like, I just want to be healthy. I know I messed up. I want to do right by myself. But an unexpected byproduct of living this plant-based lifestyle, because I completely, slowly transitioned and took out all the chemical foods away, and processed like breads and meat and pasteurized dairy, and just moved into, fruits and vegetables for 5 years, and kept that raw as well to create a lot of alkalinity in my body, because I had a lot of acidity. And the unexpected byproduct of having this experience is that I started to feel more in my heart. I started to care about the animals. I started to care about people. I started to care about the planet. I started to realize that I wanted a connection, not just to deepen this connection with myself, to find out why things happen the way they did, and what is this unknown factor or drive within myself, but also, how can I find others who think and feel the same way that I do? And so that was really like the beginning of all of this. And then after 5 years of doing this raw lifestyle, now I'm more into 80-20. So 20% I'm eating more hotter foods, and then the rest of the time it's just room temperature foods to create a good balance and harmony within my vessel. And that's just what's worked out great for me. But the feelings that I have to connect with people have expanded, to be with animals, to transform things on this planet. These things have grown exponentially since I really did that deep dive within myself. And it really all stemmed from having such a very interesting, colorful upbringing and introduction to what it's like here on planet Earth. And one of my passions actually is creating these plant-based meals. I love to convert very addictive, unhealthy foods into something that's made of plants that tastes just as exquisite and euphoric and incredible, and is, just filled with love and filled with nutrition, and it really brings energy back into the vessel, back into our vehicles, and also feeds our spirits. So that's something that I'm very, very passionate about. I have written a bunch of recipes, actually, because I just did this last year. I did a 30-day water fast. So I was fasting on just water for 30 days, and that actually created a lot more transformation in my life. I thought being, plant-based and eating only raw for 5 years was really intense, and that's nothing compared to just drinking water for 30 days. Like, if you really want to go deep, and that will change a lot. I ended up meeting God, so I know there's a lot of question marks arising for everybody who hears that, because, what is God? So I'll go deep into that in a second. But I do want to say that the recipe book that I'm working on right now, through that 30-day fast, I brought through my being and wrote down a bunch of these amazing, incredible recipes. So I was feeling like that's something that I definitely want to create. It hasn't been created yet, but it's a vision that I feel actively inspired to continue to work on. I do have all the recipes written, and I want to create a beautiful conversion recipe book where it has, like pizza and lasagna and hot dogs and hamburgers and spaghetti and, whatever, macaroni, all different kinds of things and convert that into a plant-based recipe and have that be accessible to everybody and, economical and quick and, just something beautiful to share. And also I want to accompany that recipe book with a YouTube channel where I can go a little bit deeper and connect with the recipe and share that and some other things that really help to make food digestible, not just for our body, but for our spirit. So incorporating things like before we consume the food or consummate with our food, that we're giving some gratitude. So there's going to be a lot that I want to incorporate in the channel, not just like, hey, here's a recipe, here's the ingredients, and here's my personality. Check out my recipe book. I want to incorporate the mind, body, spirit element into that. But back to the story about being on water for 30 days. So I would say it was probably day 27 or 26, somewhere around there. At that point, I was too weak to really walk. If I was walking, it was I was feeling really dizzy. I would have to take really deep breaths to stay alert, but I always tried to walk a little bit every day or do some kind of exercise to keep my body moving. But I did give myself an entire month, no working, and I was just resting in my bed, reading, writing the recipe book, dreaming and fantasizing about all kinds of food, of course. But yeah, so essentially it was I was getting really deep into more of like a spiritual space, I suppose, because all I was doing was waking up and dreaming about food and, having kinds of like psychedelic visions that are really, really, really unexplainable. A lot of color patterns and geometries I was seeing. I was feeling this vibration in the back of my head, and I didn't know what it was, but then this voice came into my head as clear as day. It was, my voice, but it sounded like someone was in the room with me speaking with my voice, if that makes sense, but from within my head. And the voice said, the vibration that you're feeling in the back of your skull is the heartbeat of the earth. And I was just blown away. I was like, tears were coming down. I was like, oh my God, I can feel the heartbeat of our planet. I can feel that the earth is a sentient organism. My goodness. And I started to see that the earth is this giant crystal. I was shown this movie that the earth is a rainbow light crystal, and that our spirits and our physical bodies are comprised of a lot of the materials of the earth, the crystal earth, crystal Gaia, and also of the cosmos, of the spirit, of the stars. So I was seeing that we are both, we are cosmic, but we are also physical. Like our souls are coming from the cosmos, and that we are also physical vehicles, physical bodies made of the crystalline matter of the earth. And this was shown to me as a figure 8. So you might associate that with the infinity symbol. And the top of the figure 8 is the cosmos, and the bottom is the earth, and in the center of that 8 is us. So we are literally both. And yes, it was just this huge realization of who I am and what I'm made of and how I'm connected. And the fast really helped me to get clear about that. And of course, I did set very clear intentions for why I was going on this fast. I did a ton of research to see what was possible, because a lot of people will go in maybe for weight loss, or they want to get a closer connection through like a religious standpoint, or maybe it's experimental, or they're just athletic. For me, I really just wanted a greater, deeper spiritual awareness of who I am, why I'm here, what's going on in my life. And also I wanted to reverse some things on my body that had been bothering me. And through a lot of research, I found that when we're fasting, actually our body, it's leaving it's leaving this space where energy comes from glucose, like when you eat food and you're drinking and things like that, and it's switching over into ketosis. And so that's where your body switches to be able to receive energy from stored fats in the body. And so when that's taking place, the body can actually focus on repairing anything that's out of balance. And so I had quite a few things that were kind of out of balance, but not too bad. But it was interesting because I had been raw for 5 years and I had this really pristine diet, but still there were things that were out of balance within my being. So this 30-day fast allowed my body to really reverse, I feel, a lot of the damages that I had caused in the beginning of my life, because I had done like a lot of things, like eaten a lot of, unhealthy foods and made unhealthy lifestyle choices that, put a lot of damage on there that not even 5 years of eating plant-based, beautiful raw foods could reverse. So this really assisted. And another thing that it helped with, I was a smoker for 16 years. And because your dopamine receptors get reset when you don't eat for such a long course of time, you literally do not have a craving for a cigarette when you only thing you want is food. So it completely rewires your whole brain chemistry. And I remember when I broke the fast after 30 days, the first thing I ate was a honeydew, and it tasted like cotton candy. It was the most orgasmic experience of my life. It was so exquisite. It was so divine. And my body and my mind and my spirit were high. I was in ecstasy. Like I had taken some kind of, drug or whatever, and I was just floating on clouds, like cloud nine, or you're in love, just that feeling. And I had just eaten a honeydew. It lasted for a week. It was so life altering, to say the least. And I had no idea that would be the reward. One of many rewards from fasting, just from food. And, it completely reset the dopamine receptors. Also, when I started, one of my main reasons why, the intentions why I did this is because I wanted to work with my eyes. I always had pretty blurry vision, although I remember as a child I had very clear vision. So interesting, blurry vision developed in my adolescent years when I was going through a lot of changes emotionally. And so I know that that's an organ. And if there's T cells that are being created within my body while I'm in ketosis, then this is something that's actually going to help, and my vision will get better. Sure enough, at the beginning, I had 20/100 vision. And then at the end, I have 20/40 vision. And so, yes, my vision actually did get better after 30 days of water fasting. And that was a miracle. And so the whole God experience, that was really interesting. After the whole like head vibration thing, I went into complete darkness. It's like, when you're falling asleep and you're thinking about some things and then you're starting to see colors in your eyes, and then you're moving kind of into like a dreariness, and then you kind of just forget, and then you wake up and you're like, oh my God, I'm in my bed. Well, I didn't have that part where you just forget. I just kept being in awareness because I was just so clear and I was so energized that I was sleeping, but I was not sleeping. That's what was starting to happen when you're getting into to 30 days of water fasting, is that you're not disappearing anymore. You're staying present in your awareness of what's happening beyond seeing colors in your eyes. And so I became this awareness, and I moved into outer space, which was just black with like stars. And then these stars moved so quickly, and I felt my whole being push forward, like, you're on a roller coaster and you're just being jolted forward. And so I move quickly through time and space, and the stars are just lines beside me. And I move until it's just black and there's nothingness, and I'm in awareness. And I'm not feeling scared. I'm not feeling happy. I'm not feeling anything. I'm just in this kind of like curiosity. I'm like, what is happening? I'm in awareness right now. And I knew that I was in awareness. And then I asked, where am I? And that's when the visualization to me appeared of an Indian deity, which looked like Kali Ma. So one of those kind of statues that has the multiple arms. And so I couldn't really make out the features, pretty far away, but from what I could see. This was the deity Kali Ma, but in the form of a statue and kind of cartoon-like. And so immediately I knew when I was looking at this, okay, this is my mind's interpretation of what a God looks like. And I'm in a space where I'm connecting with God, but I also have this deep wisdom and understanding that this is not really what God looks like. This is just my mind creating kind of like a representation so that, my human brain can understand what this experience is. So in this room of blackness, I'm looking at this statue deity and I say, who are you? And then I hear back, I am you. And I go, wow, I've always known this, haven't I? And then I heard, yes. And I'm like, so I am you and you are me and we are all one. It's just only ever been me, right? Yes. Okay. And so I haven't really been embodying that, have I? No. Okay. So I came here to have this experience so that I could remember that we're all connected and that we're all one. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you because I am you. Thank you. I see you. I see you. I am that I am. And that's when I realized this really powerful mantra that, I've heard a lot in my life recently. I am that I am. And that awareness integrated and allowed me to really grasp and experience what is oneness and how are we all connected and why am I here and what's happening. So that's my interpretation of how I met God. And take it as you will. And so anyways, moving forward from the one creation that I'm working on releasing with the plant-based recipe book, another gift that's come through is soul colors, as Cottrell was mentioning. I started to feel a really deep connection with humans and realizing hue is a color and we're all energetic beings. And so each soul I feel is giving off this resonance, and that resonance is coming to me in the form of a color. And every soul has come here as a harmonic hue to explore that color more deeply within their own beings, and also to honor, respect, love, and explore that within other beings on the planet. So we all come here as these harmonic hues. And as we learn to love and go deeper within ourselves, our hue, our soul color, it allows us to be able to activate unconditional love. And as we activate this unconditional love within our beings, we do what's called rainbow body activation. So we're no longer just that hue, that soul resonance. We are the whole spectrum. And so I realized I'm literally seeing the evolution of the soul through the lens of color. And I've always been an artist of sorts, and I like to work with colors, but not in any kind of traditional medium. It's always abstract, and whenever I'm feeling passionate about it. So I realized that I can superimpose my passion for art and my visions and the way I see the world in a way that can bridge this gap of the unknowing of what is our soul, and find a way to actually be able to talk to people about that who may not really know how to connect with their soul or their spirit, or maybe they don't even know that they have a soul or spirit and they just think that they are their body. So, or what is unconditional love? I've never experienced that. How can I feel that? Or why am I here? So a lot of these questions I realized can be answered through the lens of color, and that this is actually my most beautiful, unique gift that I have to offer to the planet. This is not chakras. This is not, auric field. This is something that doesn't exist at all on this planet. And it's the gift of the lens of how I see the world and how I wish to share that interpretation with others to create more awareness, through this lens of color. And my intentions are that it will bypass the ego mind and go straight into the heart center, to the driver of us, our inner child. Our inner child loves colors. Our inner child loves to play and have fun and, be silly. So I definitely feel like this is something else that is part of my mission and why I'm here on this planet. And so the book that I'm going to be writing as well is something that I want to share with the planet. I also do soul color readings for people and channel the divine. And by that, I mean I am channeling my own inner divine heart guidance and wisdom, which comes through in the moment. And while I realize that we live in a world where there is light and darkness, and I fully understand that I am all of it, I call upon the beings of light that are here to shift this planet. 4 major transformations that wish to uplift other beings and see everyone as a whole family. That is what I mean when I say I channel through my heart space, and that is the source consciousness that I work with when talking about these things. So that's something else that I realize that I have a gift to share with others. Just creating perspectives without creating judgment, without creating walls or barriers or separation. And I feel like colors is a great way to do that, a great way to share this all beautiful message that everyone is really saying. It's all love, right? It's love without conditions. That's the key. Love is the key to reality unconditionally. Yes, and so that leads me into like the grand vision of what it is I really see transforming on this planet, is us coming together and sharing space on land and being custodians of that land and really harmonizing with it by co-creating structures that are eco-friendly and are sustainable and are not just structures that we're building for now, but we're building for multiple generations. So I've been researching a lot about eco homes and villages and dome homes, and I've really fallen in love with dome homes, although I am supportive of tiny homes and cob homes, and I think they even have hempcrete and aircrete. There's all kinds of different ways we can build an eco home. But yeah, so I've been looking into that and seeing, there's a lot of legalities involved in how to construct and what is allowed within your country, your state, your city. But it is possible. And so that's the next venture I'm really moving into there is that, really embracing that and connecting with others who share that vision. I'm presently calling in leaders and visionaries and builders and manifestors and people that want to play, laugh, and have fun. And, I also invite others who may be hearing this message and have so many questions. I would love to help because I am just really starting to present myself to the world. I've been hidden for a very long time, and I'm finally feeling brave enough that I've found my voice and I have a strong footing and a certain direction of where I'm going in my life and the gifts I want to share with this planet. And so if you're hearing this and, this message touches you and you have more questions, please, I want you to reach out to me. I would love to just talk to you. And if you want me to help you with soul colors, I can do that, or just channel messages from the divine, or you want to chat about the vision of the eco village, or you want to know more about, plant-based conversion foods, that sounds like fun to you, or maybe you're considering water fasting, or maybe you want to talk about some really interesting things that happened to you in childhood, some really beautiful visions, anything that I've really discussed here today, absolutely please reach out to me. One other thing that it's coming in now, I was in a car accident a few years ago, and I had herniations in my spine, bulging discs, a dislocated collarbone, broken shoulder. One leg was longer than the other. And after this car accident, I was really debilitated and I could barely move. It was a very difficult time in my life, but it was synchronistic, and I was able to connect with some beings, and they told me about this sacred practice. It's called Falun Dafa. If you don't know about Falun Dafa, please research it. I feel very compelled to talk about Falun Dafa. There's just so much I could really go into with that, but long story short, if that makes sense to you, please research it and just know that after I practiced Falun Dafa, had chiropractic treatment and some physical therapy, after a year of the practice and, seeing the therapists, I no longer have any herniations in my spine, bulging discs, dislocated collarbone, broken shoulder, one leg longer than the other. I am doing great and fine and happy. And I have this beautiful practice, Falun Dafa, to thank for it. And I really love the principles that build up this practice. It's truthfulness and forbearance, and I think that I'm not sure what the other one was, but there's 3 principles, and they're both they're all grounded in love. But definitely check that out. That really helped my life. Just being able to have this energy cultivation practice really altered my physical body. And I know a lot of us out there may have body pain or be suffering from injuries. So that's definitely a really beautiful avenue that anyone can access. One of their main philosophies is to never accept money. This is a beautiful gift that every human has, to be able to work with the energies that exist on this planet, cultivate it, and work with it through your energy being to assist and realign our physical bodies. So it's just working with the energies around you and knowing how to position your body. Allow that energy to flow through you and allow it to, essentially just to be able to flow through you and no longer have that stagnant energy within you, which is what's creating that disease. But definitely please look into it more and find the beautiful research if that's something that calls out to you. And if there's enough time, I would like to say something about sacred economics. How do you feel, Catriel?
So I was going to first say, wow, that is a lot to digest.
Oh my gosh.
An epic journey. Whoa, so beautiful. Like, I just want to take a moment to just really feel into that.
Thank you.
Allowing that to ground.
Thank you.
As you guys can see, she is such a clear channel. A beautiful, clear channel. And, you're just such a beautiful soul and a beautiful friend. And I thank you so much, for just even being here right now and sharing your truth. And, speaking that truth. It takes a lot of courage. And yes, absolutely, we have time to speak about sacred economics and how everything that you just, opened us up to, and how can all of these things be possible through sacred economics. I'm going to give you the floor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Thanks for giving me a second to breathe. Because that is definitely, as a fairly new channel, sometimes the information does come through pretty quickly and I forget to breathe. So I'm glad that there is that sacred pause. And I do want to thank you, Catriel, for taking that first step as a leader to even create a podcast to, give people a chance to speak, because being able to speak your own, unique truth is very therapeutic. And it's what you're doing is helping others to really find that value within themselves and take that next step forward. And that is monumental, and that is beautiful. And that, to me, is unconditional love. So thank you for finding a way to create unconditional love on this planet. Thank you, Catriel, and thank you for being my friend and greatest ally, and just another silly, strange, fairy-like being that is really kind of artsy and unique and silly and joyful. And thank you for that.
Thank you. You're going to make me cry.
I know, I was going to cry too.
Or, I'll just laugh it out. Still
Yes.
crying inside.
Yes, you're making me want to cry too, and that's okay. Crying, I honor the feelings. But yes, so how is any of this possible? Any of this is possible really through your own inner being, and by inner being I mean the you that is connecting with you. Like when you ask yourself, what is it that I want to do today? And you really tune into that and you feel that is how anything is really possible, is you connecting with yourself and asking those questions. Looking into the mirror, gazing into your eyes and saying, I acknowledge you, I see you, I love you. I am awake and I know who you are. And even if you don't know what any of that means, being able to start this process of connection and developing a relationship with yourself will really help to accelerate all areas of your life. And to me, that's so important. I value relationships. That's one of my greatest values. And yes, our greatest, most wonderful asset, most abundant thing that we could ever have is our relationship with ourselves. It's so important that comes first and foremost. And this is the foundation of which you want to spiral out and create whatever it is in your reality or your universe that you want. So having that relationship with yourself and asking those questions, do I like this? Do I want this? Whatever, just formulating your own opinions and having your own inner dialogue. So I'll just share a bit that in my experience, I always found the whole money thing to be kind of wonky or strange or just feeling very heavy. And I didn't know at the time, when I was younger, but what was happening is sort of like this division. Like I always felt very divided because, you have people that are wealthy and then you have people that are not wealthy and then you have people in between. And I didn't know what it was, but these things were all happening around me as a child. And I just started like putting the pieces together of how money had really created a lot of division in my life. Without getting into too much detail, if you can play the movie of your life back to yourself, like through your next, meditation or prayer or just silent time with yourself, you're out in nature, in your car, whenever you can, go through that movie in your life and see how has money affected you and how has it affected the world, and look at all of that and then ask yourself, do you like that? And if you don't like that, then you're going to love what I have to say now, because there's actually a way that we can shift this paradigm that we've all kind of been a part of. And that paradigm that I'm talking about is the pyramid scheme. So what is the pyramid scheme? It is where there's someone on top and they are receiving a large amount of money or assets or whatever. It could be power. The pyramid scheme could really be about anything. But anyways, it's an imbalance. So someone is on top and they're receiving a lot. And then at the base, the people are receiving a very tiny amount. But they're working very, 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 very hard to bring a lot of this current and a lot of this abundance to the person on top. And so if you can just visualize a triangle in your mind, you can see that there's someone on top who's receiving all the benefits and doing pretty much nothing. And then there's the people on the bottom that are doing a lot of work, but they're not really receiving much in return from that. And so what I'm seeing is all over the planet, seems to be the way, the paradigm of how money is circulating and being worked with and exchanged. And to me, that doesn't feel very good. I want to embrace money as a tool and something that I feel excited to work with, although I don't want it to be my only form or my only tool that I have in my toolkit to exchange. And so I recently was introduced to, about last year, in 2020, introduced to a different paradigm, a way that we can exchange money without having this inequality, this pyramid scheme. And the way to look at that is to reframe it. How can we reframe someone on top and people on the bottom, not getting a lot, is to do a gift exchange. And so I found that if we're all giving equally and we're all receiving equally, then there's no inequality. And so I did have someone recently say to me, oh, isn't that socialism? And I didn't say anything. I just kind of looked at them and wanted to see what the response would be after that. And I just smiled and I said, well, this is what it means to me. So for those of you out there that may think, oh, if it's all even Stevens, isn't that socialism? To me, it's not, because the way socialism is packaged on this planet does have a lot of power imbalances where one is in control over everyone, so kind of like a dictatorship. And so when I'm talking about gifting, I'm talking about not just gifting one thing, I'm talking about gifting the whole package. So what I was introduced to last year, it's called sacred economics. And that's where you are giving unconditionally. So you're giving a gift, whatever you choose that to be. It could be money, it could be energy, it could be time, services, your gifts and talents, whatever that is. And then you're receiving in equal measure. And everybody who comes together in a group is able to connect in this way. And so, yeah, by joining this paradigm, it allowed me to get a really close lens on what it looks like to face some of those silly fears that I did have about money, you know, that maybe it was scarce, or that if I didn't have money and a job that I would die. And, you know, I got to face like a lot of really interesting things. And I found things within my being like, oh, that I was being more transactional sometimes, that money was more important than the relationship. And I was just finding how money can really be this thing that is almost like your God and the most important thing. And how that's kind of encouraged all over the world is for us to put money as the most important thing, which the most important thing is us, our time, our relationship with ourselves. So getting to connect with a sacred gifting group based off the principles of sacred economics has really changed my life and my perspective when it comes to money, my relationship with money, and how that can be, exchanged in a way that's fair for all beings, and can actually, if you're just working within the realms of money, it can actually fund you to do whatever it is you want to do. So, for example, the sacred gifting group that I'm in right now, we are, I won't say too much about the numbers, but we're gifting an X amount of money and we're receiving X amount of money. And through this process, we'll just say that it really allows you to see your relationship with money. I can't say too much about it because everyone who goes through the experience is going to have a very unique perception about it, and you know, there's those of us that may not be open to the paradigm shift and may see it as too good to be true. But I will leave my information if you're interested in hearing more about it. If it does resonate and you're just curious, you know, I want to know more about sacred economics and gifting economy, I feel really good about, you know, chatting one-on-one with you, or possibly, you know, inviting you to a group where you can connect with, you know, other like-minded beings that are a part of it. Because everybody's going to have, you know, their own unique perspectives about this and how it works and how it functions. But yes, I wouldn't be sharing it if it wasn't something that I feel very strong and empowered about, and a way that I see that our world can potentially, at least one way, function and work with current in various currencies. It's a beautiful template that it isn't just working with money. You know, there's some of these sacred groups where, you know, like I said, they're doing a time exchange or a sacred gift exchange. So really, it's all about your level of comfortability and how you wish to connect. But yeah, this kind of template is beautiful, and it's called Sacred Economics. So if you're interested, feel free to reach me. The best way to reach me right now is my cell phone, and so I'm just going to give out my phone number because I don't care if I get weird calls, which I do all the time. I can just block it, so that's really easy. So my phone number, it's area code 727-657-9393. 9524. Yep, that's the best way to reach me. And my name's Harmony. And yeah, it's been really awesome talking about all these things.
I actually want to say a little bit about sacred economics.
Oh, you do? Okay,
Yeah,
great.
absolutely.
Okay.
So I'm also part of this sacred economics community. I had Harmony actually invite me in, and what's really cool is about the system is really more so associated with the divine feminine and the circular movement, and rather than this more divine masculine power feel. And in the circular movement, we also work with the elements. And it's really beautiful to go deep within that. And we call, when we move through these different energies, we call it the medicine. And it really brings back that tribal nature to us. Because at one moment, or at one point in time, this was a major way for tribes to survive, and still is. And so it really allows for community and this deeper bond with the beings around you. And it's a finding tuning our connection with divine source, with currency, with money being energy, and with the divine members within our group. And so thank you, Harmony, for bringing this up. I support, you speaking about this, and I know it's something very passionate and deep within your soul. It brings so much wisdom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You just reminded me I'm actually doing one-on-one coaching for anyone who does join Sacred Economics. And, after you do your research and read all the materials and watch the videos and, maybe join in a meeting or two. And then you do want to actually join and give that unconditional gift. I'm offering my time and my energy and my presence for those who want to really move through the medicine and don't want to feel stuck, scared, uncertain. Because I definitely feel like that's a role that I wish to step into and to facilitate. So just know that if that is something that you're interested in, I'm also doing, the one-on-one coaching, and it feels really exciting. And thanks for bringing in the information about the elements. That is beautiful. Yeah,
it's a lot of information to digest, but it's very beautiful when you dive deep in and really connect with all aspects of this beautiful system. I want to say thank you so much for coming on and being a part of this beautiful opportunity of just us speaking our truth. And God, I'm just Mer.
Yes. And then for those of you who don't know, Mer actually means the ocean. But that's something that Catriel says when he feels love in his heart. Mer. Yeah.
So I also want to mention in our next episode, I'm going to be bringing on wisdom, and we're going to be talking about higher consciousness, and it's going to be a lot of beautiful energy we go deep into. Thank you, divine, beautiful souls. This is Catriel, your host. Over and out.